This is a clip from an earlier live stream. I know you're going to like it, so the link to the full video is down below. Check it out. I'll see you over there. I think that the black community has really, truly, we trip over ourselves to destroy people who don't, quote unquote, walk the line that we think they should walk. And we come up with our little pejoratives, you know, the sellout, the Uncle Tom, the bootlicker, whatever. When they don't fall in line with a particular political stance that we think they should have. It's sadly, it's what's keeping black people from being more productive as a part of American culture, is the fact that we keep blaming everybody else for our problems. And that's just it. And anybody who tries to move in a different direction, we castigate them and try to bring them back into the fold. And they got to come back. Otherwise, they're quote unquote a sellout. So I wanted to bring on this gentleman. I forgot his name. He's got some kind of made up name that he's made up. But he's usually on Roland Martin's channel. If you ever watch Roland Martin, you've seen this guy. And he's talking about Nicki Minaj and what he thinks about her. And I just thought I'm gonna take a few moments to I feel break this apart, because it's just dumb. And really, at the end of the day, this type of person doesn't want other people to think for themselves. As much as they regale, as much as they talk about being educated, as much as they talk about being, advanced degrees and this, that, and other, and I wrote this and I speak there, they don't want you to actually think for yourself. They want you to think along with the group, and God have mercy on you if you think differently than the group. Well, then you are going to get called names, you're going to get picked out, so on and so forth. So let's see what this gentleman, again, I forgot his name. I really, truly don't care. But let me bring this in. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
Greetings, upstanders. Dr. O here. And I'm not really big on calling people, sellouts and things like that. Particularly because a lot of times when we call people sellouts who have never really bought into what it is that we are doing. And
so I got to stop right off the bat. Why do I have to buy into what you're doing for you not to call me a name? And does everybody, I don't agree with dreadlocks. So am I a sellout because I'm bald? Are you a sellout because you have dreads? Come on, that's just silliness in 4K. We're not gonna even talk about, again, it's just dumb. Come on, man. At what point do we stop this? And that's why a lot of people don't like it. And a lot of people saying, why are you mocking Candace Owens? At this point in the game, I can't take you seriously. I don't think you want to be treated serious. If you're gonna literally say that somebody is a sellout and they're not a sellout because they haven't bought into our idea, what is the idea? What is it that we're supposed to buy into? Because I think most of us know Nicki Minaj as being pretty much a very raunchy, very anti-Christ type of rapper. And now she's doing something totally different. So what is it that you wanted her to buy into? The anti-Christ agenda? The anti-family agenda? The pro-destruction of the nuclear family agenda? What was it that she's supposed to buy into? And why in the Lord's name are you promoting it?
Particularly under this Trump administration 2.0, we're seeing a lot of people that we thought were down with the community or really kept silent, really just start to speak up and show that they're really not down with us at all. I think about 50 Cent, for example, and some people say oh, he's, selling out, he's in pictures with Mike Johnson and all of this other type of stuff. And I'm did 50 Cent really ever, buy into the black community, or did he just build?
Well, what does that mean? I've been black for my whole 52 years. By God's grace, I'll be celebrating another one coming up in April. What does that mean? He hasn't bought into the black community. See, this is the foolishness that has caused the black community to not really prosper and move forward. That's it. This ignorance that's coming out of this man's mouth is exactly why the black community won't prosper. We see people like Nicki Minaj, who, in my opinion, she's trying to make strides to do better. I'm not absolving her of anything. I'm not saying that she's the best thing ever. I'm saying that I feel very confident that she's making adjustments. By God's grace, in next year, 2 years, 5 years from now, she'll be very different than where she is today, because she's allowed to grow in Christ. This dude right here, man, this is the problem with our community. We sit there and we'll literally say, Nicki Minaj is trying to do something better for herself and, dare I say, for her whole community. And she ain't bought in.
His fortune off of the black community. And if you're just an entertainer, then so be it. But don't call these guys like black. He's not like Mos Def, Yasin Bey, or Talib Kweli or something like that. And that's how I see it when it relates to Nicki Minaj. I mean, Nicki Minaj did have some critiques, for Trump, during the first, child separation policy and the like. And she, talked about herself being an illegal immigrant and like when Trump was doing what he was doing. But now, maybe because of her brother's, incarceration or her husband's incarceration, whatever it is, she's decided to go full MAGA. And this is who she is. And, she is.
So instead of just saying, hey, you know what? I did some soul searching. I've been thinking about my position. And again, he's negating a very true observation that is it possible that Nicki Minaj's heart has been pricked by the gospel and she realizes that she's a sinner in the hands of an angry God. And maybe, just maybe, she recognizes like, yo, I'm in trouble. I have no hope apart from Christ. And in her turning, as Doug Wilson said, turning to Christ, she now has abominated some of the other actions and policies and ideas that she used to relish. Do you make room for that at all? Because it's really sad to watch. Like, dude, for real? Again, I'm not saying Nicki Minaj, I'm not absolving her of anything. But my goodness, in the morning, man, like, we don't want people to do better. You want to sit around here with these little, with these dreadlocks. I'm anti-dreadlock. Yeah, I'm dreadlock hating. Yeah, I'm dreadlock hating. Hey, you over here with these dreads, but you mad at people because they're trying to do better? And they're thinking for themselves. Why do we not want people to think for themselves? Why is that something that we're proud of?
It's from Trinidad, and people from Trinidad and the United States are concerned about being deported or being locked up, put in ICE detention right now, and that's real and that's happening. But I find it also interesting. A lot of people don't know that at the same time that Nicki Minaj is out there declaring herself as MAGA at Turning Point and all of these other places, the government of Trinidad is also partnering with the Trump administration in their conquest in Venezuela. And a lot of people don't know about that. So there's a very interesting thing going on with a prominent Trinidadian in Nicki Minaj and the actions of the Trinidadian government in working with the Trump administration, allowing it to use its ports, in Venezuela.
What's that got to do with Nicki Minaj? I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, what's that got to do with Nicki Minaj? See, this is when you just really, truly do not want somebody to move forward. Pat, again, people like to say the crab in the barrel syndrome. You don't want somebody to actually do something better. You're literally going to concoct the reason Nicki Minaj, like, I don't even fully understand what he's trying to say. So because Trinidad is working with Trump administration to deal with Venezuela, what's that got to do with Nicki? Boy, see, this is exactly why we can't have nice things.
And doing, several other things as it relates to its military there. So I think that people need to be paying attention to that because that's something that's going to be really problematic to watch. And one of the things I want to ask is, look, I obviously respect Nicki Minaj's, skills and lyricism. I respect the fact that she either wrote or co-wrote every song she's ever been on, which is powerful. She's definitely one of the greatest lyricists of all time. But, she's an entertainer. And that's how I look at all of these guys. Look, I wrote a whole dissertation on Jay-Z. I teach a class on Jay-Z at American University. Doesn't mean I'm not going to critique any of his moves. I disagreed with him and what he did with the charter schools and situation in Pennsylvania and the vouchers, I should say. And, we can talk about those things. So what are y'all out there who are Nicki fans saying? What are y'all going to do? This woman has embraced an organization in Turning Point and embraced a movement that is racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, Islamophobic, run down the list. It is that. All right.
Prove it. Prove it. You have to prove that. So what? Prove it. Don't let people just say this kind of stuff. Make them show and prove what it is. Don't just say it because they want to say it. And I've had tons of conversations with people pertaining to TPUSA, Charlie Curtin, and such like that. And they make these statements as just as matter of fact as today is Tuesday, Charlie Kirk did this. He ran his truck over my toe. Just as short, he cut in front of me at the Kroger. he took my double coupons at Publix. I mean, and they just say it as a matter of fact. You're like, how do you prove that? Prove it. Ask him to prove it. Make these people actually show and prove. Otherwise, I can't argue with you. Show me where the proof is. Like, it doesn't make sense. And what does that have to do with? Okay, fine. Nicki Minaj. Well, here's a better question. And I'm going to ask this question differently. Where is the left-leaning, Democrat-supporting, highly melanated community speaking out against the murder of Nigerians in Africa? I will wait. That's what I thought. Where is the Democrat-leaning, left-supporting, highly melanated crowd encouraging young people to marry and get married to one man, one woman, and have babies and build the community? I'll wait. Why are we mad at the woman? Because she wants to better our community. See, that's the ignorant stuff, man. That's why I say we allow dumb people to run amok in our communities. And this dude is a dummy. And we allow this kind of stuff to just run amok. Because there is no left-leaning organization that is supporting and encouraging the nuclear family. There isn't. There's no highly melanated organization that's trying to encourage families. There isn't. Not on the left, it isn't. So if you believe in one man, one woman till death do us part and having little people and having a lot of little people, where are you going to go? If you believe that a child should be protected in the mother's womb, where do you go? Where do you go? I'll wait. This is just dumb.
Any of Nicki Minaj's, what are they called? Barbsies, or like, excuse my ignorance on that.
I'm going to excuse your ignorance, period, on air. Okay? The fact that air is free is the only reason we're allowing you to do what you're doing. Okay? That's just it.
Are y'all just going to sit there and ride with that? Literally at that conference, Nicki Minaj said that J.D. Vance and Trump are great role models.
And what? So what? You don't like that. So what? Take your hand, put it behind your back, scratch your butt, and get glad. Nobody cares that you're upset about that. Now, you might not like J.D. Vance. You might not like Trump. Okay, so what? She has a different opinion. People can have a different opinion. It is okay. It's perfectly okay. You might think that J.D. Vance and Trump are just okay, sort of, kind of all right. You might think they're the best thing popping. Guess what? It is okay. That's the problem. We won't allow people to have independent thoughts. You get, oh, how dare she think something different? How dare she consider something different? Man, who cares what you think? I think your dreadlocks look ignorant. I don't think they're real. I think they look like yarn.
Started stealing Trump's language, calling Gavin Newsom, literally in front of Erica Kirk, called, J.D. Vance an assassin after, in terms of his skills after Erica Kirk's husband got assassinated and had to take that back. So what are y'all doing? This is like a direct question to y'all who are Nicki fans. I get the idea of people saying, okay, somebody just makes good songs and, it's entertaining. I'm not fully down with that. I'm saying I kind of get that when people kind of stay silent. But this woman is actively embracing people who are against you.
Okay. How about you do this for me? Just for laughs and giggles. I will give you that Trump and J.D. Vance and all of TPUSA is against me, okay? I will trade you all of that if you can show me the exact same amount of people on the left that are for me. How about that? Show me and show and prove. So you do need to show me evidence, independent evidence that here's an example of this person on the left being for Jason. I want to see that. And then I'll trade you. And then you convince me, I will go over there and be rocking with y'all. But you can't. And I think we all know that it doesn't exist because y'all are not for us. You're just mad that other people are for us. That's it. And I don't need people to be for me as a black man. I need you to be for families. I need you to be for humans, for Americans. That's what I really need you to be when the smoke clears. But show me just for laughs and giggles. How about you show me that y'all are for me?
who are actively against you. J.D. Vance said at that conference that no one's going to have to apologize for being white anymore. Y'all know anybody who's apologizing for being white?
Yeah, we know quite a bit. Yeah. Maybe I should intersperse, maybe have editor Jason edit in some white people apologizing for being white in here, since you apparently don't know that. But white people can be white. Rock on, be white. Be less melanated. It is okay with me. I have no problem with y'all. I got a lot of melanin. You have less melanin. The Lord is still sovereign. So what are we doing? See, this is the ignorance. But what happens is these people don't want they don't want you to be at peace. That's really what it is. They don't want you to be happy and comfortable with your neighbors, with your church community, with your family, and just loving God and doing what he's called you to do. Oh, no, no, no. You got to have some kind of chip on your shoulder. You have to have some kind of issue that you're always constantly fighting. I got to fight because Nicki Minaj said something on TPUSA stage. I don't even know what TPUSA is, but she said something and I'm supposed to be mad about it. They playing y'all.
I never met him. And I'm not even saying people should be apologizing for being white, because I don't believe that either, but I've never met anybody who's apologized for being white. This is also the conference.
I got a bad feeling if I really wanted to, I could find him contradicting that statement. I got a real bad feeling if I really wanted to, which I don't want to, but I got a feeling I could.
As Tucker Carlson and all of these guys, Ben Shapiro's up there fighting to have Turning Point not be anti-Semitic anymore because he's Jewish, but has no problem with all of the other racism and homophobia and anti-trans rhetoric and all of the other rhetoric that Turning Point has been a part of. Candace,
what is it? Show me what it is. He about to mention Candace, and Candace is not a part of TPUSA. So I'm gonna back it up for a second. Show me what is the evidence. You do not have to allow these people to say this kind of dumb stuff. You can say, show me your evidence. Show me your proof. Show me your evidence. You're saying it. I need to see it. But let's let them continue.
And all the other rhetoric that Turning Point has been a part of. Candace Owens used to work for Ben Shapiro. And so, look, people can have their politics. And of course, when we get to the whole thing about Nigeria, it's not just Christians who are being killed in Nigeria. Muslims are being killed as well.
That is not true. I've talked to Frank, who from a Nigerian perspective. No, it is Christians that are being slaughtered in the genocide. Is Muslims against Christians. You can't do this, everybody. Oh, everybody's getting killed. Everybody in the club getting. No, it's not. It's not. So stop with the lying. But see, you're just going to keep lying.
And she's ignorant on that particular issue of what's going on there. It's a lot more complicated than Trump has tried to make it.
Wow.
And what Christian activities is Trump engaging in the United States where you live right now, Nicki Minaj? What is he doing? Clothing the poor, feeding the hungry?
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. That this man is honestly saying that Trump is doing something abroad, worrying about Nigeria. And he says, well, what is Trump doing in the United States? I guarantee you, without even knowing, if we ask him, what does he want Trump to do? I guarantee you one of the first things out of his mouth, if not the second, will be something about immigrants, something about illegal aliens in the United States. This man, this is crazy work.
Sheltering the homeless, doing the opposite of all of that. And so Nicki Minaj has made her choice. My question is, where's the choice that y'all are going to make who have consumed her lyrics over the years, who have been down on her versus whether it's against Megan or Cardi and all of this other type of stuff. We're in bigger issues than this right now.
Notice, you do hear what he's trying to say, right? He wants her canceled. He wants Nicki Minaj canceled. He wants her audience, what they call barbs. What's barbs for, y'all? Help me out. He wants the barbs to turn against Nicki Minaj because she doesn't toe the line that he thinks that she should toe. That's some nasty work. I'm going to say right now, you've yet to hear me say cancel anybody. I might say I don't rock with somebody. Jason doesn't rock with somebody, but I don't tell anybody else to do that because you have the ability and you have the free will to make a decision. This Nicki Minaj has used her free will to make a decision, and this man is upset about it with himself. That's crazy work. That is some crazy work. Oh, that's what it is? Hold on. Barb is short for Barbie. Okay. See, I don't know. All right, well, rock on. Well, you know what? Y'all, Barbs do what they Barbs do. Like, I don't care. Like, why do you care so much about what this woman believes, but you yourself are not doing any of the things that she supports if you believe those things are valuable? That's crazy work, man. That is some nasty work. And the fact that we allow these type of ignorant people to run amok, not only in the black community, but just in society in general, is going to be, that's some diabolical work. This dude right here, with his whole zesty self, using all of the free will and the free air that God has given him to make this kind of dumb statements. That's what I'm talking about.
It's bigger than music. And when someone gets out there and proclaims themselves to be part of a administration that's pushing Nazi rhetoric and trying to simulate Hitler's regime under people like Stephen Miller and the like, and you declare yourself to be part of that movement, there should be some consequences if y'all really care. But I don't know. At the end of the day, people need to stop riding with people who clearly show that they're not riding with you. This is
what is the riding with me that Megan is not doing? I am for one man, one woman marrying. Nicki Minaj seems to be for that. I'm for those married couples having little people and having a lot of them. She seems to be for that. I'm for people being able to think freely and make their own decisions and be responsible for that said decision. We heard her mention that even with Erica. I am for Christians, my brothers and sisters in the faith around the world, being able to worship God freely and unharassed. She's for that. What is it actually that she's not for me for? I'm not understanding. Maybe it's something more nuanced. Like, I got that green patch, that bare patch in my front yard. I got that taken care of by God's grace. So I don't know, maybe Nicki is like anti-bare patch in your front yard or something. Or maybe she's pro bare patch in your front yard. What is she against that I'm against, or for that I'm against? You know, maybe her music might not be the jam. I'll give you that. I'll probably give you that. But what is it actually that she's? I don't know if I know. Maybe you could be a little bit more clear, a little bit more, direct, and really point it out. Like, Jason, this is what she's for, and you shouldn't be for that, or this is what she's against, and you're for that. It would really be helpful.
Isn't a debate of whether she was actually ever really down. This is clear. She's drawn her line, and I don't care if she's trying to get people pardoned. From what I'm understanding, some of the things that her husband and brother are dealing with are state charges and can't even be pardoned for. I don't even know if she knows that. But all I know is that here's another entertainer, a black entertainer, and this is different than somebody just being ignorant on an issue. We're all ignorant on particular things. We all can be open up to learning.
We know you're ignorant.
But by going to that Turning Point conference, sitting down with Erica Kirk, saying the stuff that she said, it's not like she just went there and performed, which would have been bad enough. But she would just be like, hey, it's a gig, which would have been a problem. But she went.
They don't want. But that is so wild. That right there is amazing to me. And mind you, this guy is not the gatekeeper of gatekeepers. So he really doesn't. His opinion doesn't matter when the smoke really clears. It doesn't. But it's wild. Like, she could go to do a concert with Kamala Harris, who's anti everything that I support, and he would have been okay with that. But if she went to Turning Point to talk about her faith, to talk about where she is with various policies and such like that, that's bad. Not singing, not promoting any kind of foolishness, but rather promoting something that we can all point to and say, yeah, all right, she's making progress. She's moving in the right direction. I can get with that. That's bad. Like, dude, what the world is wrong with you, man? Like, this is some nasty work. And I think he might be a gatekeeper. That's what we said here. Yeah, I'm dissing dreadlocks. I'm against dreadlocks. I'm not a fan of them. There you go. My name is Jason. You're on the fight? Catch me outside. I don't like dreadlocks. I'm not a dreadlock fan. And I got a lot of friends that have dreadlocks. I'm just not a dreadlock guy. I don't know. And I'm bitter. I'm bitter because I can't grow them. That's right. I'm bald and I'm mad. So yeah, you want to call me a hater? Call me a hater. Sure, I'm a hater. I'm a dreadlock hater. Make bald heads great again. There, I'm a hater. But I don't think those are real anyway. I'm going to say that out loud and get that off my chest. I think those look fake.
there and embraced everything that Trump, JD Vance, MAGA, and I will say Nick Fuentes, who was on Piers Morgan the other day throwing out N-word, 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 like it's all good. Nicki Minaj now embraces that. And what are y'all going to do?
That's why I say, like, Tucker Carlson did not do the conservative movement any solids by, well, first of all, I don't like Tucker Carlson, and I don't believe his form of conservatism is anything to be admonished. But I told y'all, now this guy right here is lumping Nick Fuentes in with Turning Point. Like, okay. Like, where do you even get that from? I don't even know where you get that from. But see, that's the problem. That's why we said Tucker Carlson was wrong for what he did. And by normalizing and mainstreaming and money laundering Nick Fuentes, now we got this.
Consume more music. Look, I've gotten rid of so many people over the years, whether it's people from Seinfeld like Kramer, whether it's R. Kelly. Like, I don't have a problem removing people from my playlist or my watch list who don't represent our values. If you're not the type of person to do that, is it because you don't have values? Or
what are your values? What are your values? I would love to hear what this man's actual values are. Like, don't just try to shame me because I don't rock with you. Tell me what your values are. I'll tell you what mine are. But tell me what your values are that I can weigh them. Like, oh man, your values are much more in tune than mine. Okay, I've probably abandoned my values. I know you liked that episode. This is actually a clip from a larger live stream. The link is down in the description, so you can go check it out. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you down there. Grace and peace.